This segment of Naperville Sports Weekly is brought to you by the Daily Herald.
We are here at Naperville Golf Course with head coach of the Naperville North girls golf team, Coach Greta Williams. How are you doing?
Great. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. So we're going to start off with the first term of the year, Homewood Flossmoor Invite breaking a school record, 307, 4 scores in the 70s. How was it to start the year like that?
It was amazing. You know, we went in and I wasn't really sure what to expect. I mean, we had 4 of our top 6 players back from the year before. So I was hoping, if we could break 320, I would be pleased with that. And coming and shooting 307 was just fabulous. And it was one of those, we set the bar pretty high for ourselves for the rest of the season. But I think, we see the possibility of what we can do. And we're not far off from going back there, I think, hopefully.
And you follow it up at Naperville Country Club, a very tough course with a 338. And you're not going to shoot a 307 at Naperville Country Club. What was the team's kind of attitude after the second one? There was setting a team record or school record is you're as high as you possibly can go. And then it's not like they played bad. You took second place. But shooting 31 strokes higher, that had to be a little different feeling.
We went in knowing that the scores were going to be higher. We also knew that the greens were going to be, significantly faster. So we had to just go in and just be, happy with pars and bogeys. And that's kind of our attitude we went in. And we still played pretty well. Lauren Boudreau is amazing. So we knew that that was an advantage for them, is she could play amazing at that course. Lauren Ney, actually, her family belongs to Naperville Country Club, so we had an advantage there. She knew the course really well. She had, her sister plays on the team too, so it was kind of nice for those 2 girls to be able to talk to the rest of the team about how to play that course, because that's the only time we see it all year is on that tournament.
So you have a really tough regional, you have a really tough conference. Mm-hmm. What's the competition of play like in the conference, the matches? How do you think that helps them getting ready for postseason play, like the conference tournament and regionals, sectionals, and beyond state? How do you think that helps them?
I think one of the things we've been working on above everything else, the girls know how to play. They're good. They go to, they're pros in the summertime. They work on the off season. They play in a lot of tournaments. And our whole approach this season was just to kind of play loose. And they know how to play. And it's all about our mental game. If we can keep our mental game together, if we can, in matches like today, it was really, really windy. If we have a bad hole, are we able to bounce back? And that'll be the difference maker for us, I think, because we can shoot the scores. They know they can shoot the scores. It's a matter of being able to stay mentally tough when things get maybe a little bit more difficult and not having quite the day they want to have.
And AJ Barr shot a 38 today. Mm-hmm. She told me she tripled a hole and still shot 38. That kind of explains what you're talking about with the mental game bouncing back.
Exactly.
As your senior captain, what does she kind of show the rest of the team? That's a perfect example right there. She doesn't let it get to her.
Right, exactly. She, after I saw her struggle a little bit on, number 3, she came back and said, I didn't do well, but I know I'm going to bounce back. And she talks herself up that way, and she's always positive when she comes off any hole that she's going to do better than she did before. And that positive self-talk makes a huge impact in her game. I really think so. And it does rub off on the rest of the girls because she's able to encourage them in that way and sets a good example with that. Just, even though you might have a little rough start, you've got to know that going into the next hole, the most important shot is that next shot, not what just happened. So.
Well, there was one time AJ couldn't do better than before, and it was a hole-in-one last during regionals.
Yes.
Was that the first one you've had as a coach, as one of your players?
Actually, in 2012, Caroline Pearson had a hole-in-one at the Joliet Invite. So that was the first time I've ever had it on my team, so it was number 2 for AJ. But, anytime that happens, it's so exciting. And, it's one of those things, too, that, the girls have come so close so many times to actually have it happen is kind of fun.
What was that like in regionals? It's not like it was just a match or an 18-hole tournament. That's the biggest time of the year, regionals.
Right, exactly.
Did you go talk to her or anything after that, try to make sure her mind was right so she wasn't too excited?
You know what? She's so, like I said, a great mental player, and she's able to keep herself kind of together. It doesn't get super high highs like after a hole-in-one or super low if she's having a tough hole. That she's pretty steady all the way across. So I'm not concerned whatsoever in terms of the way that she was able to hold it together, whether she's playing great or struggling. So she's definitely a leader in that regard.
And her making it to state last year as an individual, is that kind of set the bar for the team to try to make it? You don't want to just go with her this year. You
Right.
want the whole team to go. What's the kind of the goals along the way to help your team get there? Is there numbers that you guys are trying to shoot each time out, or anything like that?
Our goal for just the whole season is to make it downstate. That's our number one goal. That's what we talk about. That's what we focus on. But the one thing we have to remember is every match, we're out there to work on every hole, every shot. It's not, if we get too far ahead of ourselves and think of the bigger picture, we're not going to be able to improve. So we just have to take it one match at a time, one tournament at a time, and kind of see what we can do in that way. But since we shot that 307, that goal of 320 we've completely changed that. If we can go out and break 310 now, that's definitely a goal that I think if we're able to do that, especially around the state series time, we'll be going down.
And you have a team that had 4 scores in the 70s for that 307. With the depth of that, what does that show that you really, state's not just something to talk about, it's extremely realistic to get there?
Absolutely. And the great thing about it too is that our players, we have in our top 6 girls, 2 of our players are seniors. And so Lauren is a junior and Mara is a sophomore, and we have 2 freshmen that actually are playing in the top 6 right now. And that says a lot for the future, but it also, having AJ and Emily on the team, being able to show the girls how to practice, how to get ready for a tournament, how to set your goals high, how to work hard. I think they're setting the stage for even the next 3 years for the girls that are coming up after they graduate. So I think they just set such a good example that we're bound to be successful.
And that kind of leads me to my final thing. You got a young team still. Does that do you kind of smile when you walk around? All the other coaches know you're going to be around for not just this year. You guys are going to be competitive for the next 2-3 years. Does that kind of make you more excited for this season? Because even if it doesn't get to where you want it to be, right back next season, you can have the same shot.
Yeah, absolutely. And the one thing when some of these girls were in junior high or even younger, I kind of knew about them, and I knew that they were playing, and I knew they were working. And I even remember several years ago saying, when these girls get to North, we're gonna be making some noise, hopefully. And we're at that point right now where we're starting to do that. We've got such tough competition in the area, though. If you look at Hinsdale Central is always great. Wheaton Warrenville South is good. You've got the St. Charles schools. We've got some pretty tough competition. So even though we're having a really successful season, those teams are as well. So with Bennett being usually always in our regional as well, we're going to be facing some really, really tough teams. So we've got to keep our composure and be able to keep that mental game under control to be able to make it to the postseason. So,
well, thank you very much for joining us, and good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you very much.